Okay, so Elon Musk, he's bought Twitter, and the left is totally going out of their minds. They just hate it. And here's a prime example. David Campbell, total lefty, Australian media, vegan, all the rest. I'll go into his background in a minute, but just have a listen to what he said about Elon Musk and how he totally dissed him, and I'll just go on to disprove what he said in a minute.
I think that, he was offered to go to the UN and solve world hunger for $6 billion, and he turned it down.
He's like, no, I want
Just
to go
want to remind you that
Twitter.
it seems like he's a cool, easygoing guy. Could have solved world hunger.
All right, let's move on.
Bullshit. All right, yeah. Bit of a Top Gun reference there as well, but let's have a look at David Campbell here. I'll get a browser up in a second, and I'll show you what I mean about how left-leaning he is, and they are just totally triggered. So let's have a look. Here's David Campbell. As you can see, there's a few indications here. I'd like to mention that David Campbell's dad here, you can see on the left, on the right here is Jimmy Barnes, total legend. Singer, cultural icon, we'll call him. And his son, I think, has rebelled against this. Although I think Jimmy is fairly left-leaning. And he supported Albanese, Albo, and so forth. You can see here the first problem is vegan. And he's got his pronouns he, him. Always has a left-leaning stance on the morning show that he co-hosts. Unbelievable. And you can see here he's wearing his Vegan Forever T-shirt, etc. So you get the impression that he's very left-leaning. Right. So let's go debunk this. So we'll play the clip again. Let's get the clip up again, just in case you've forgotten what he said. And get the VLC player up again, and we will replay it. Let's have a listen to what he says, what he alleges Elon Musk did.
I think that, he was offered to go to the UN and solve world hunger for $6 billion.
Okay, so he's offered to go to the UN and solve world hunger for $6 billion. It's like, what, the UN were going to give him $6 billion? And he refused?
And he turned it down.
He's like, no, I want
Just
to go
want to remind you that
Twitter.
It seems like he's a cool, easygoing guy. Could have solved world hunger.
All right, so
All right,
let's get stuck into this. This is not the case at all. So let's get onto the browser again, and I'll bring up some evidence that he is totally out of his mind. Right. So here we go. So here is the evidence. Elon Musk tweets he is willing to spend $6 billion to fight world hunger on one condition. Oh, this is interesting, isn't it? So, spend $6 billion. See, don't spend $6 billion. He wasn't offered $6 billion. He's willing to spend $6 billion off his own wealth. So, David, you got that wrong for a start. So, let's go through here. After being name-dropped by a UN official who said that just a small percentage of fortune like Elon Musk's $300 billion could help solve world hunger, the Tesla CEO tweeted his own challenge, explain how $6 billion will fix the problem, and he'll sell Tesla stock right now. So David Beasley, is another David, director of UN World Food Program, told CNN it was time for the ultra-wealthy to step up now on a one-time basis. I'll go into detail why this is just ridiculous after we read through this. So $6 billion to help 42 million people are literally going to die if we don't reach them. It's not complicated, he said. I mean, actually, it is actually complicated. And we'll go into this in a minute. So specifically mentioned Musk and Jeff Bezos. So basically, it's the old adage. The left just want to, whenever you get some wealth, take it all away from you and squander it because they really don't know what they're talking about. They don't know how to handle big issues. But it's all just a lot of virtual signaling, and we can manage the money better than you can, so give it to us. So here is Musk's retort. On Sunday, Musk tweeted, Actually, we'll make this a bit bigger so we can read it a bit better. There we go. There we go. For the people who are visually impaired like myself, who eyesight's getting a bit bad in their old age. Musk tweeted, if World Food Program can describe on this Twitter thread exactly how 6 billion will solve world hunger, I will sell Tesla stock right now, he said about Beasley's assertion. And in a follow-up tweet, Musk added that UN's plan must include open source accounting so the public sees precisely how the money is spent. Oh, bravo, Elon. This is exactly how you respond. He's probably gets so sick of this. Like people just saying, you got so much money. You should give it to me. Beasley responded to tweets, a Musk tweet a few hours later, offering to be on the next flight to you and saying that the executive can throw me out if you don't like what you hear. And now comes the crunch. Beasley also said that while a $6 billion figure wouldn't solve world hunger, so going against the assertion of David Campbell that it will solve world hunger, it will prevent global political instability, mass migration, and save 42 million people on the brink of starvation. It all sounds so easy, doesn't it? Throw some money at it. Keep throwing money and it will be solved. So now it's gone from solve to help solve world hunger. So this is quite good. So there we go. So this guy, Dr. Eli David, said 2% of Elon Musk's wealth is $6 billion. In 2020, the UN Food Program, the World Food Program, raised $8.4 billion. How come it didn't solve world hunger? Seems like they just want an endless supply of money from the wealthy, doesn't it? Bit hypocritical. It's like they got 8.4 billion, which is more than the 6 billion they said will solve this problem, which they later downgraded to help solve. And I'm old enough. I'm 51, and I'm old enough to remember all the little jokes we had as little primary school students, and things like, how when Kampuchea, I think Kampuchea is called something else now. Look, you guys can look it up, just Google it. It's called something else. Kampuchea, the joke was, how do you fit 20 Kampucheans in a matchbox, tell them it floats? Because, they're all refugees and they want to get out because they're all starving in Kampuchea. This just went on for years. That would have been, I would have probably been 5 years old, just silly little kids. Telling silly little jokes, and so it's been going on for at least 45 years, and hasn't been solved, and I don't know if it ever will be solved, because there was a great article in, there's the Wall Street Journal or New York Times, one of those high-profile newspapers, actually written by a black person from Africa, who said that Africans, if you just keep pouring money in, they'll just become dependent on the foreign aid, and it just doesn't get anywhere. It doesn't solve anything. Okay, so Musk replied by asking Beasley to publicly publish the organization's current and proposed spending in detail. Sunlight is a wonderful thing, Musk wrote. I won't get into that. You can read that. That will get flagged. Peacekeepers, naughty peacekeepers. It's unclear whether Musk was serious about his offer, and a representative for Telstra did not immediately respond to CNBC make its request for comment. Blah, blah, blah. So there we go. So Musk has been criticised for not giving away more of his massive fortune, although he said he prefers to remain anonymous when giving away money, which is great. He probably does give quite a bit away. So earlier this year, Musk pledged he would give away $150 million, including a $1 million prize in a carbon removal contest. Another issue, carbon removal is quite difficult. There was a great doco, can't remember the name of it now, with Greta Thunberg, and she went around and talked to the coal miners and the people who are working on these things, and she soon realised that carbon sequestration and storage is going to take decades to do. They've got little small pilot plants, and it can be scaled up, but it's just going to take decades. So she got a rude awakening on, you know, solve this carbon crisis right now, not a minute later. It just doesn't work. It just, the logistics just don't actually align with the what do you call it, the virtue signaling of, yeah, everyone agrees, carbon's no good. Even if you're a climate denier, my argument is, even if it's not true that it's man-made, you want to breathe in cleaner air, right? So we want to go away from carbon sources of pollution, carbon dioxide and so forth. Right, so I think there was another one. Oh, here we go. So it's basically a lot of stuff's been said there, but we'll see here. Development of glass statistics by region, Africa 2018 edition. This is the OECD's financing sustainable development. And it just basically shows ODA receipts by recipient, US dollars in millions, net disbursements 2016. So this is basically how much money is going into Africa. And you see the total down here, 49,954 million, which is 50 billion. Hang on, I only needed 6. But you can go here from the breakdown of how they're using the money, and it should be solved, shouldn't it? Only needed 6 billion apparently. So lay off Elon Musk. Seriously, it's not his issue to be solving world hunger. It's a world issue. Foreign aid, we put in foreign aid. It doesn't seem to be working. I'm not too sure what the actual issues are, why Africa seems to have a huge, it could be a climate issue where they're building things in the wrong areas. They're building, living in places that are really uninhabitable and shouldn't be living in, that sort of thing. You see that a lot. Bad urban planning. Lots and lots of issues. I don't think just throwing money at it is going to be the answer, although China, I'm sure, is going to totally have massive development in Africa, which they're already doing. I think in Cameroon, they built a $2 billion railway and so forth. And China will own Africa and all the resources, basically extract all the resources and then just dump them like a hot potato. So that's my prediction on what's going to happen in Africa. China will get in, promise them the world, take all their resources and go, thank you very much. We're done now. Bye-bye. All right. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. If you've got any comments, leave them below. What do you think about David Campbell's assertion that Elon Musk is basically had a chance to end world hunger but didn't take the offer? Because the first time I heard it, it's like, wow, they gave Elon Musk $6 billion as like a consultancy fee to end world hunger. It's like, no, he was meant to give them $6 billion. And he said, well, hang on a minute, man, it's my money. Can we have a bit of due diligence here? Can you work out where this money's going to go? I'm just not going to just throw $6 billion around if you're not telling me where it's going and how it's going to be spent and how the mechanism of how this aim is going to be achieved. So that's my opinion. Leave your comments below. Like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.